Yeah, well, there's no sound. No sound.
At this moment, not yet, indeed.
Okay.
I'm waiting until I go live.
Whether consciously or unintentionally, is an essential part of learning to co-create with the world we want. Thank you for joining us today. We are glad to be able to be here and share this sacred Ho'oponopono practice with all of you, and hope that you will continue to explore whatever you receive from its offerings. If you are able, we would appreciate your support to help us continue to be able to offer these events and keep them accessible to all who would like to participate. Please consider becoming a member or making a donation. You can learn more about membership and benefits and how to donate at churchoftheearth.org. Thank you so much. Welcome, my beloveds. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Michelle Reid. My medicine name is Dancing Heart Spirit Woman. I'm here with my beloved husband, Gordon Aeschliman. His medicine name is Eagle Heart Peace Walker. And we're just so delighted to be here on this special day. It's a special day for us, the 7th of February, on this month of Ho'oponopono. It's actually our 11th year anniversary. And as my beloved says, 1 + 1 is 11. So it's the number of mastery. And as Robin Youngblood, grandmother Robin, was sharing in her Ho'oponopono earlier this month, the theme for the dance this year, Dance to Heal the Earth, is spiritual mastery. And we are, as a couple, certainly aiming to master at least the love, the forgiveness, the gratitude between us. So thank you so much for joining us on this special day. And it's just been really, really beautiful to watch the other Ho'oponopono shares up until now, where so much has been covered. Praying for the past, the present, the future. Praying for all of the kingdoms, all of the realms that we are co-creating our blessed, most precious lives with on this planet. Praying for the next 7 generations. Praying for those that have passed of late through COVID. Just offering up that prayer of Ho'oponopono. So there's been such a wide range of prayers up until today, and there will continue to be more in February until the end of the month. So it's just so beautiful to witness and to share in this Ho'oponopono offering with all of you today. And what's certainly been coming up for self is relationship. You know, here we are 11 years in. And, you know, what's been coming up for self is we are in relationship all the time. I'm in relationship with my beloved. I'm in relationship with my daughter. I'm in relationship with my students. I'm in relationship with the garden, with the trees, with the plants, with the birds, with the elementals. We are all related, and we always in relationship. Every day, every breath, relationship with self. We are always in relationship. So what came up for me, what I'd like to share with you before my beloved shares, is that the masculine and the feminine, just looking at within self, you know, and this applies to heterosexual relationships, it applies to homosexual, bisexual, it applies to every relationship. Where are we with our masculine and our feminine? And what I realized with self is that I receive a lot from the feminine within self. I receive the dreams, I receive the visions, and then the masculine steps in, the doer, the problem solver, you know, to see these dreams and visions becoming made manifest. But I find myself predominantly in my masculine, where I'm doing an awful lot of doing instead of being in the feminine. And the feminine offers so much more, you know. It's about receiving the love, receiving the rest, receiving the nurturing, you know, receiving the protection. So what's come up in me of late is when I'm busy doing and I'm in my masculine, I'm out of balance. But what's it doing to our relationship? Where does it allow for my beloved's masculine to step in, to problem solve for me, to act for me? And this is where relationships then become unbalanced and they fall apart because we become codependent. We become full of expectation. We're not resting. We're not allowing to receive the love. You know, love being a verb, receiving and giving. A lot of us that are women, we know that we give a lot, we give a lot, we give a lot, we give a lot. That's the masculine. Where are we allowing to receive, create that balance in our relationship? And this we can extend to all relationships. You know, when I think of my daughter, where am I being too masculine? Not hearing her, not listening, not truly listening, not allowing her to live her life, her journey, her mistakes, you know, to let that unfold, to let her exercise in the balance that she needs to exercise in. And of course, it works the other way too. So it's an invitation just to see where we are in relationships on all levels across the board. Where are we giving too much and not allowing for that receiving? How can my beloved love me? How can I keep myself open to that receiving of love? You know, if I'm in my masculine and then our masculines clash. So it's that beautiful balance. And this is what I would love to bring in to our Ho'oponopono guided prayer, which we'll be getting to. But I think for now, it's over to you, my beloved.
Hi, darling. Yeah, we are celebrating this very special day. 11 years ago tonight, walked into a nice little establishment in Cape Town and fortunate enough to meet each other there. That was it. Yeah, as we go through the Ho'oponopono tonight, Michelle will explain to you the process we're going through. But I also just want to add to those introductory thoughts that when I met Michelle, one thing that was really clear to me in that moment was the blessing of prior relationships that were an opportunity for learning, you know, an opportunity to gain wisdom, understanding, self-reflection. And I would say a lot of the time I didn't do well in that. But as we came together, I was reflecting in those early days together. A lot of gratitude that because I started to do some of that work before we met, made the possibility of our coming together likely. Because in a sense, then I was ready for this beautiful butterfly to be able to be a partner with her and to actually grow in a relationship that includes the heart and the content of Ho'oponopono. So every every relationship we're in brings its own challenges, its own opportunities, its own teachings. And I wouldn't believe that if we failed in a relationship along the way, that it's an all loss, and that it's a statement of our inability to go deeper, to move forward. It's just it's part of the blessed journey to receive and to learn what it means to grow and to become a person who is much better relationally down the road. In all the relationships, as you said, but I know in our own relationship, I've often just felt the gratitude that there was a lot of scrutiny before I met Michelle. And we're young together, and yet we're very old together. And I would say we look forward to a lot of years together of continuing in this beautiful love, which means also continuing in the learning of what it means to be in a mature relationship. So it's not something that we get certified in and then we're done. It's we wake up to it every morning, fresh. And the beauty of the Ho'oponopono, as I've come to understand it, is it's fresh as we allow it to be. So if we visit it with our sincerity and our heart in the moment, it's there to be our handmaiden and our guide and our teacher, and our friend in that moment. It's not something that we go through and then we're done with it. So it's a beautiful regular reminder to bring into our lives in a regular practice.
Oh, my love. Thank you. I love that, the handmaiden, the Ho'oponopono handmaiden that helps us to reach our healing place of forgiveness, place of love, place of thanksgiving. So the process we'd like to take you through, much like the medicine wheel, which a lot of us know has become a real compass for us, a real guide for us to check in with all beings, with the sacred hoop of life. There are the 7 sacred shields of relationship. That is too a map. It's a map where we can check in with each of those 7 sacred shields and see where we are with them. A deeper investigation. Where are we in each and every relationship with these 7 sacred shields? And they are honesty, courage, humility, loyalty, wisdom, respect, and love. So these are the 7 sacred shields, my beloveds. And what we'd love to do is take you through a beautiful Ho'oponopono offering where you can, as we're going through each of these shields, you can call in a particular relationship that you wish to work on, or many relationships that come up for you. And it can be one that you're working on, it can be many. So as we go through these shields, beloveds, together, offering up Ho'oponopono for each, with a bit of guidance, you can see what comes up for self. And that is information that we can work on and move forwards towards our healing. Yeah. Okay, so I invite you all to close your eyes. Just to take a few deep breaths. Beautiful bridge in the body to the spirit. The beautiful bridge to the grace in our hearts. Just for a moment, just feel this connection. Feel this journey to the heart. Feel the heart beating. Easy breaths. Settle into our comfortable swans. The grace within our natural state. Tune into that. tune into that. Notice just how very quickly we can go into this beautiful natural state. Heart is still beating. Breath is still flowing. The mind is calmer. We feel the sense of presence. We are here now in the sacred circle together. And beloveds, if you wish, you can keep your eyes closed. Open them, whatever is more comfortable to you, as we go through these 7 sacred shields of relationship. So the first shield that I'd love to invite you to, honesty, is to honesty. This is an invitation about our truth with ourselves. Begins and ends with ourselves. Where are we walking in truth, in alignment, in integrity within self? And how is that spilling out into the world around us? What are we causing with this truth, or the alignment to come into truth in the world around us? Because of course we know that every thought vibration, word vibration, doing, inaction, physicality creates a ripple in our worlds, in our relationships. I want you just to sit for a moment. See what comes up for you. Whether it's a relationship with self, partner, whoever it may be, where are we not being honest? There's many places we can go. Where are we not being honest? Perhaps for the sake of protecting another. Perhaps due to fear. I'd like to invite us in this moment into Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry for not standing in my truth. Please forgive me. Not being fully in my truth. Thank you for always being guided to the deeper truth within self. And I love you for this journey, the truth that lays within. Aho.
The second shield in relationship to courage. And I think about how I was embodied the courage as a child that was probably, being willing to face a lion, face it down, or jump in between the lion and others. Be strong, be tough, courageous, do not fear. And I think older I've become, as the years have gone on, courage for me comes closer to the word itself, to be in the heart core. It's that place of the heart. It's an anchoring place of being as close as possible to the core we really are, and stand in that courage, to stand in that heart. And in relationships, there have been times that I haven't had the courage, I haven't had the heart to do the right for a number of reasons. And maybe this is something that makes sense to you, that sounds familiar, but sometimes I haven't had the courage to do the right thing because of fearing the consequences of that. Maybe that means I'd have to be more in my integrity or in the truth thing. Maybe it would call out a growth point for me that I wasn't so sure I was willing to take on. Maybe the courage was being asked of me to go into terrain that was unfamiliar to me, or even having the courage to in a sense, put a boundary in a relationship where it could seem I was hurting someone else, and where, in fact, I'm inviting that person into their own integrity and in their own place of honesty and growth and courage. So the second shield is a call to the heart, which turns out to be our strong place. Now, in the masculine paradigm, as that's part of our subject today, the strength that we can pull from the masculine side of it is that there is the lion. Okay, there is the one that stands. My spirit animal has been the jaguar for ever since I was very young. The jaguar is light in the dark. It walks with full knowing, and it has absolutely no predator from its own point of view as it walks in the dense and the dark jungle at night. There's a kind of courage there that one, the masculine, but there's also the beautiful feminine courage, place of deep nurture, knowing that the heart, yes, it's that place of strong knowing, it's the place of gentle caring and nurture. So courage, this beautiful melding of those two. Be someone who, at the core, nurturing, is doing things for the right reasons, the grace of strength, follow through on that. So for us in this Ho'oponopono moment, as you reflect and as I reflect in maybe past relationships, but present as well, because these prayers work across time. It's not bound in time. The opportunity to think where has my courage for whatever reason, and how have I hurt myself and how have I hurt others because of that lack of courage. So in the Ho'oponopono, I say to myself and to others, I'm sorry. Really, please forgive me. I love you and I thank you. Hearing my Ho'oponopono in this moment and pull out the clarity of mind and heart, be encouraged in this moment forward.
Oh, yes. So, beloveds, the next shield we're going to move on to is loyalty. It's a big one. Big one. Loyalty for standing with others, with self, even if we're standing against adversity or against the stream, against the masses. And this is something that came up very strongly for me, moving towards this whole Ho'oponopono with relationship, and what came up for me, what surfaced from the deep waters of loyalty is, in these times where there's so much extremity, there's so much polarity. We've seen it through COVID. We've seen what's being birthed amongst us within relationship, within community. We've seen the separation, or felt the separation even further. Conscious circles of people being divided by different belief systems. What's going on around us. And for me personally, what came up was just moments in this adversity or extremity or polarity. I have a beautiful word. I don't know how relevant it is, but I call it pendling right now. Pendling. Everything is pending because we can't make set plans, but also there are these polarities on the pendulum. We're pendling. But in those moments during COVID, there were times where I felt my loyalty was being compromised, or I was compromising my loyalty. Where was my loyalty? Standing with my beloved, standing with the tribe, standing in this quarter of belief system, standing in that quarter. Where was it? And some mistakes were made. You know, loyalty and going back to honesty is also about allowing the other their truth. Allowing the other their truth. So that's the beautiful teaching of loyalty, backing another person in their truth. And there are many streams of truth at present. And another thing that loyalty brings up as well is boundaries. You know, the boundaries within loyalty, within relationship. And this can spill out into romance, you know, and sexual involvement, the boundaries, the loyalty to the masculine and the feminine that resides within us, the loyalty to self, about honoring self, keeping self safe, self-preservation, the loyalty to another, about doing no harm to that other in relationship, friendships. So I would very much love to offer ho'oponopono, my beloveds. Say, I'm sorry for the times where I haven't stood up self for another's truth in fear of ridicule or judgment or being cast aside. Please forgive me for that potential hurt, sense of abandonment that could have been felt in that moment, or sense of betrayal that could have been felt. And I thank you. Thank you for the beautiful lessons, for the deep reflections. Again, for that inner knowing within feminine self of where my loyalties lie. And I love you. What is being birthed in the world, enable us to check in with self. Aho.
Yeah, our next field, relationship to wisdom. And I think two things in particular, Ho'oponopono, that are emphasized on the shield. The first one is that wisdom is actually having an understanding of the ramifications or the consequences of choice to make, you know. So to not belittle the thought, what's ahead with what I've chosen to be, you know, in the space. And a lot of relationships have just an untold amount of unnecessary harm because of maybe flagrant or unthoughtful or unconscious along the way. And so hurt can ensue, fissures and result. And for something that in the moment maybe seemed inconsequential because I hadn't been thoughtful about it, I haven't brought wisdom to that moment, there's harm. And that calls up then obviously the possibility of the Ho'oponopono prayer in that moment. Underlying that, there's a deeper thread or maybe weave with the word wisdom. That is that wisdom understands, and you can see how it's related to the earlier thought here. Wisdom understands that there is no inconsequential part of life. Everything of this moment is connected to what lay ahead. And everything that I do or everything that I'm being has an impact in some form beyond this moment. So wisdom understands that there is no disconnect in any part of our life. That can sound frightening. Oh, my God, what's going to happen if I do this or if I do that? Could become paralyzed in fear. That's not wisdom in that moment. Wisdom celebrates the joy, the knowledge that there's nothing that's discarded. This walk in spirit on the earth, on the sacred path. Everything that we participate in every moment has the potential, beautiful outcome in this world. And everything that we do, if done without thought, without care, wisdom, because it instructs us to put a pause, to be aware. We're grateful for this wisdom insight. That it makes sense to pause it, to be more careful and reflect, on where this is going to lead me. So it's not a weight on the shoulder, not the old up for the punishment paradigm. It's that beautiful grace that I can be connected in my heart and in my consciousness, spirit, to where this path God leads, where this decision goes. And so the Ho'oponopono, in this context, for me and maybe for you, is to reflect where I've operated without the knowledge that wisdom provides, right? So maybe just here for a moment, close our eyes and we really can pause and become the honesty that Michelle mentioned in the first shield. Bring honesty, pause, and allow our hearts and our minds and our spirits to be instructed, where we let wisdom sit on the side of the road rather than walk as our full partner, and to acknowledge how we harmed ourselves and others, through that carelessness, and to thank wisdom for being grace in our lives when grace wisdom and walk with you. Say, I'm sorry for how along my road others have been harmed with my lack of walking in integrity, of knowing my choices and my actions take me and how they impact others around me, and to say sorry to myself for ways in which I've just done things and have brought harm to myself instead of and love and grace. And so please forgive me. Please forgive me those who have been harmed by my unconscious moments and my unconscious thought that is an isolated moment, unrelated to the rest of my relationship. Those relationships are dear to me. And so forgive me and aho.
Aho. Oh. So we're coming to the fourth shield, beloveds. That's humility. Humility. We're on the fifth shield. Did we miss one?
No.
Ah. Yeah, we're on the fifth shield, humility. Oh, yeah. What comes up for me, beloveds, is the idea that there is so much we don't know. There is so much we don't know, even within self. There is so much that we don't know what's out in the world, and the truth, the many, 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 many truths, as many as there are two-leggeds and probably beyond. So this humility, coming into the space of being willing to learn, being willing to investigate, being willing to go deeper, being willing to make the mistakes. The humility as well comes in for me of there are greater forces at work here, just the force of love, force of spirit, fire of spirit. So coming into relationship where we come in with what is the unseen, you know, what is the unevident? Because the mind can assume, we know that word, you know, the mind can go, that's what that person is thinking. That's what they're saying, without hearing it. Because we already have an idea, it's another word, conspiracy theory, about who that person is and how they'll react, and especially in relationship, partnerships, where we've been with each other for a long time. But there's an unknown magic. And I think we can reach that magic with humility. That there's something else here. There's something else at play. It's one of the beautiful things you said, beloved, about that wisdom, that unrelated, you know, there's that unrelated space. That's wishing to perhaps being birthed, or that is where the mistake's going to be made. You know, so much within our work, within our relationships, upon the path, with our teachings. You know, we know what we know. When we come into ceremony, we come prepared. We know what we know. So much that can unfold in that space of what we don't know. The magic of what wants to be created in that space. So we always say we need to step out of our own way to be the true channel of spirit. And we need to be in a place of humility for that. If we're in a place, yes, there's knowing, inner knowing to the bones. Yes, there's wisdom gained through experience, absolutely. This is where our wisdom comes from, living through it, in it, with it, through experience. But we come in humility. So it's that invitation into relationships to be humble, allowing for all of that person or what all the potentiality of that person can bring. And we don't know it all. We don't even know it all. So yeah, that is the humility that I'd like to do our Ho'oponopono for. It's also about taking responsibility. Our mistakes that are made from our egocentric mind, from thinking that we know everything and there's not much more to know here. Yeah. So I'd like to offer Ho'oponopono for that, please. Yeah, I'm sorry when I've come into spaces, places, relationships, and moments where I've blocked my spirit off from receiving more. Receiving more teaching, receiving more love, receiving more understanding. For preventing growth. And please forgive me. When I'm operating from a place of preconditioning, when I'm operating from a place of patterning, so there can be no new coming in. So there's a stuckness. I ask for that forgiveness. Ask for that humility. I love you. I love all that have brought me these lessons and reflected back to me where the mistake is, where the misalignment was, where the unconsciousness was, where the ego stepped in, took over. I love you for that. And I thank you for the ability to find this place of humility. Aho.
Right. The sixth shield is respect. Wow, this is a big shield, I think, for a number of reasons. I think first of all, on just the personal level, the shield calls out for us to respect ourselves, you know, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Pay attention to what it actually means to honor this. That's right here. So do I honor myself? Do I honor my need for rest, for activity, for good nutritious food? And there's a lot of different ways I can respect being in its fullness, the spirit, the ways I don't do my prayers and meditations, all of that. And so on the one level, it's kind of interesting talking about the shield of relationship when you're talking about respecting self, but that's actually part of what makes for a healthy relationship is the degree to which I've even learned to respect myself or reflect then on my healthy respect. So if my respect for myself is a healthy respect, then it's going to be healthy to that same degree with others. Now, we often learn respect self from others. We actually see respect modeled for us, and that makes sense. So someone who's strong in this shield, so full of beautiful gifts to offer others, maybe along the way have not learned the wisdom. You know, respect is not just a private individual shield. It's actually a deeply relational shield, and it moves into this kind of very close space, like with Michelle and myself, who've been together for 11 years, and respect calls out so many things that the way that I would want to honor my own self. Respect says, that's the way you want to honor your partner, friend, your coworker. So do I offer her the same honoring I offer myself when it comes to the whole order we are? Respect even ties to what you were just sharing in the previous shield. So the humility component of respect is to be able to validate someone who lives in a different paradigm, that lives in a different worldview, that lives in a different body, and to be able to actually give that the breath of life as well. And it could be as close as my partner, who might be in a very, very different body, very, very different mind or spirit from my own, and to not belittle that person in whatever form. Respect is the opposite of some of the really cruel jokes, the sexist jokes, the jokes about people's bodies, about their traditions, their cultures, where we are so often trained to actually dismantle someone's being just simply because of the unconscious patterns we've been given, sometimes from the dinner table that we've been raised on, little others, to not show respect. And that breaks down community, that divides, that makes us all weak. Respect is what makes us all strong, because we've made space. And it may sound strange, but respect doesn't validate hatred. It doesn't validate harmful. It doesn't validate harmful behavior towards myself, towards someone else. Like, well, that's just who I am. I just happen to not like, respect doesn't go, oh, I get it. That's fine. Just be nasty. Respect doesn't validate, harm. Actually, the opposite. And so it can be a very, very gentle dance to know how you validate someone's being without validating the hatred or the unforgiveness or the sharp knife-edged tongue that accompanies a lot of harm. And sometimes for parents, the difficult one in terms of the generational is, wow, we know how nasty we might have been as a young child. We know how naive we came into certain situations and made choices that hurt us and hurt those around us. And as parents, we celebrate our children, but we don't celebrate what harms them. We don't celebrate how they harm themselves, and we don't celebrate how they harm others. And here's the interesting twist on that word, married relationship. Respect is actually calling out the highest possibility, not in myself only, but also in. So to respect myself is to say, Gordon, I expect more of you. I respect you. Respect someone else is when they do something harmful towards others. For a good friend, for a good relationship, be able to call out. I wish something higher for you. I wish something more in line with the true nature of your heart in this situation, respect. So it doesn't make it comfortable to be a harmful person. Cross the veil, I just want to mention a quick one, is my biggest teacher across the veil has been my great-grandfather running deer. And he had a terribly harsh experience as a young husband and father when his wife and 3 kids were killed by the US government through a program to destroy the Native American population in that area. And after he buried Morning Dew and buried his 3 kids, he survived. He became very bitter. And he taught me once in a lesson through the veil that Morning Dew came back through the veil. Once and said, "You're running deer, you have a poison running through your bloods. You're bitter. Is this how you want it to end?" Because it actually doesn't end. You cross the veil, what's in your heart is carried through the veil. You to live with. She invited him to respect himself enough to become a forgiving human being, to let go of the things that was putting his spirit in a poisonous prison and become free, and to grow and to ascend into another level of purity. So respect is a beautiful friend, the deep possibility. So as I think of the Ho'oponopono in this context, the times I've been disrespectful to my body and my spirit, my emotions and my intelligence, the way I've just treated myself as a cog in a machine. And the ways I've been disrespectful in my beautiful relationship here and with my children and parents and with my co-workers, where it's about getting this job done without also the deep knowing that we share a beautiful spirit and humanity, a common gene of love and generosity, and I haven't abided by that. Perhaps a similar truth. And so I ask for forgiveness, and I say from the bottom of my heart that to myself and to others that I'm sorry for that lack of respect, and I love you and I thank you, and I wish to continue the journey deeper with full respect. Aho.
Oh. What a beautiful thing, my beloved. So we're on to the final shield. Hey, I got the love.
You always
This,
have
this,
love, my
this
baby.
wasn't really planned. We put it all together today. But gosh, love, that's a big one. That's a real big one to hold and to share about, unconditional love. I know for self how far that journey is yet to go. How far that journey is yet to go. There've been moments, I would say, in my life where I've touched on unconditional love. And it's an invitation to walk that path every day, every moment, when voice comes up, patterning comes up, behavior comes up, habit comes up, triggers come up. The beautiful thing is, and I think one of the best guides on this centering shield of love at the center. I think one of the biggest teachings is, and one of the things that I've used throughout my life for many years now, when I've been in doubt, when I've been in fear, when I haven't known what way to go, what to say, what to do in a situation, is what would love do? Such a beautiful little question. So much teaching, so much expansion. What would love now? And sometimes we can look at our partners and our children and our parents and family, familia, and we can see them being unconscious or suffering or weak in that moment. And what do we do? How can we call ourselves into that space of loving, allowing them that space? It's a massive place to go. That's a massive invitation. Yeah. Yeah, love is allowing another one to grow and to support them in that, without inserting ourselves or projecting ourselves into that space. It's walking the other home. It's not so easy, is it? We've all experienced in those moments, moment by moment. like I said, love is a verb, love is a doing word. Love is active, you know. It's not passive, because even in not responding or being triggered or supporting that person, whatever we are in that moment, by pausing in the wisdom, we're still being active in the love. So love is always calling us into such greater expansions. And we believe, my beloveds, that all of these shields can help to balance the, you know, the feminine and the masculine within us when we look at them, when we take them, when we go deeper with them, when we travel with them in our hearts, when we investigate further. So the Ho'oponopono I offer for this love, this great big 4-letter word, love, is simply this: I'm sorry for not being love. Please forgive me for not being love. I thank you for love. And I love the love. Aho Dakayasa. Amazing, my beloveds, how all of these shields are part of the other. They're not isolated. They're bits of all of them in each other, interconnected, coming into the center with love. We just thank you so much. Yeah, on this special day of ours, our 11th mastery number of being together. Just want to thank you for spending this time with us here, this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in, and really hope that in some way this can guide you, these beautiful 7 shields, yeah, can guide you along the path as we all continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to walk in beauty and love on our sacred Mother Earth. We've got a little song. Actually, we posted it about 2 weeks ago on our post on Facebook, planning to do a new Ho'oponopono song. We actually put the song together today, just as life goes. And so it's raw, but we hope you enjoy it. Yeah, sing it, use it, claim it. It's yours. It's our gift to you. Thank you for being a whole Matapias. Okay, let me see.
I love you for all that you are. I love you, yeah, for all that you are. I thank you for seeing me so far. I thank you, yeah, for seeing me so far. Please forgive me when I am too wild. Please release me when I am a child. I'm sorry for all of my mistakes. I'm sorry for creating rage. Oh, for not letting go. You know I love you. Yeah, till the end of time, you know I love you. Yeah, you are so divine, and I thank you for holding me so dear, and I thank you, yeah, for lending me your ear, and I love you, yeah, for all that you embody, and I love you. Oh, I am so sorry. I love you, yeah, for all that you are. I know I thank you, yeah, for seeing me so far. Yeah, please forgive me, oh, when I am too wild. And please release me when I am a child. I'm so sorry, oh, for all of my mistakes. Yeah, I'm so sorry for creating rain. Please forgive me, yeah, when I hurt you so. You know I'm sorry, oh, for not letting go. You know I love you, yeah, till the end of time. You know I love you, oh, you are so divine. And I thank you, yeah, for holding me so dear. And I thank you for lending me your ear. And I love you, yeah, for all that you embody. And I love you, and I am so sorry. Aho, Matakuyasan. Thank you so much, my beloved ones, for listening to our beautiful Ho'oponopono. Yeah, may we sing this in our hearts and continue to forgive, to thank, to love, to apologize for our healing. So much love to you all.